You're thinking about making the move to Chagrin Falls, Ohio, but you're wondering, where is Chagrin Falls? Well, I don't blame you because it's one of the furthest away suburbs in Cleveland, Ohio. It's about 20 miles away and it takes about 35 minutes from downtown Chagrin Falls to downtown Cleveland. And we're gonna take a look at that today because we are going to dive into a map video. So I'm gonna take you through Google Maps, showing you around the area, showing you around some restaurants and bars, some of the things to do, as well as the parks and the recreation and the distances from downtown Cleveland, from the airport, and what surrounds Chagrin Falls and all that comes with it. So we're gonna take a dive into this, but if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below and I'll be happy to get to them and answer them as soon as I can. So let's jump on in. If this is the first time to the channel and you want to know all things about living in Cleveland, Ohio, well, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you can be notified when we upload a new video and be current on all things Cleveland. My name is Kip Sweeney with Living in Cleveland, powered by Mancuso Homes, and we get calls from people just like yourself looking to move in 9 days or 9 months. Whatever it is, my contact information is in the description box below. Feel free to give me a call, a text, email, or schedule a time to speak through Zoom. I'll be happy to help you and to find the right and perfect place for you and your family and to make sure that you have a smooth transition here. All right, but for now, we're gonna dive into this map video on Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Here we go. So there's Chagrin Falls. So it is a little smaller, right? As we kind of mentioned, the population is just over 4,000 people, which is gonna be a little bit of the smaller communities, but they don't offer what Chagrin Falls offers, right? For as small as it is, it has quite a lot to offer and amenities and things to do. So there it is, there's the outline. Let's zoom out real quick and see where everything else is in relation to the city and the downtown. So here we go. Here is Cleveland, downtown to Chagrin Falls. And as you can see, there's a couple different ways we can get there. So there it is, but typically we're gonna come this way and we're gonna get on the freeway. We're gonna make some paths this way. Let's check out the traffic right now. We are currently, let's do Cleveland, Ohio. So we're gonna go from downtown Chagrin to downtown Cleveland, Ohio. So as of right now, from Cleveland to Chagrin Falls, it's a 34-minute drive. It's 23 miles, pretty much 24 miles, right? And so if we were going to swap that distance, here we go. It's 38 minutes right now and 37 minutes if you take a different route. But roughly 38 minutes, 24 miles in essence, plus or minus a couple. But what you can see is we have some traffic. So here, it's not always gonna be this distance. For the most part, that original time, about the 34 minutes would be probably the most common, but right now with some traffic and construction. Now, we also have this alternative route up here, which is 37 minutes, but it's gonna be more back roads to get up to the freeway before we actually get on there. And so that's gonna be one caveat to that. Now, I wanna do something real quick. Let's see if this works. I wanna show you what it'd be like if we were to take, they're all drawings. So let's change this leave now. Let's depart at, say, typically about 30 to 45 minutes. Let's say 6:30 a.m. So I just wanna give you an idea. So leaving at 6 is a little better, but, or sorry, 6:30. But what you can see is you do start to see some traffic. So this is gonna be your rush hour, right? So we're gonna get some rush hour times here, 45, 40 minutes. Don't leave at 7:30. All right, so don't leave at 7:30. You're gonna get stuck in traffic, especially right here. This is kind of the merge for 480 to go downtown. A lot of shifting in lanes, and you're gonna see a lot of traffic just getting congested because of people staying on 77 here, and the people that are taking a 2-lane this way that merges into 1 lane to merge with the rest of the 3 lanes on 77 to get downtown. So that's something you're gonna need to keep in mind. So if you leave at 8, which I feel like now it's starting to get a little late to get downtown and to work at that time, but regardless, let's say that's when you're leaving, you're gonna really see the traffic get real congested as you get closer to downtown. That's that path. This path doesn't look too bad. This is if we were to stay on 480, which many times you're not going to do. Or going into Cleveland, coming out of Cleveland. So again, sorry, if this doesn't pertain to you, if you wouldn't be getting a job downtown, then you can go to the next segment here. But I just wanna think, let's say we left work at 4 o'clock and see how long is it really gonna take us to get home? You're gonna see it starts to build up when you take I-77 to 480. Okay, so 5 again. 30 to 50. So you can see it's starting to get a little worse as we push it back. 3:30, you're still in the green. 3 o'clock, still in the green. That might be, the latest you're gonna wanna really leave. But you can see that it's usually gonna take you about this long, 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the time that you leave. Sometimes you're gonna hit that 50-minute ride with traffic if you're leaving a little too late. So just something to keep in mind if it pertains to you, if you do have, if you're working downtown or something you're considering. All right, so now let's take this and let's put in the airport, because this is something that I think this pertains to everyone, no matter what, in my opinion. So let's go from Chagrin Falls to Hopkins International. So here we got a 28 to 40 minute drive, quite the range, but it's about a 27-minute drive if you stay on 480 all the way through. So I think you're gonna be safe to say that you'll be able to do this. The drive down to the airport's not gonna be that bad. 480, for whatever reason, be a little backed up there. There's a slight bend in 480, so the rest of the traffic just has to pay the price. However, you can see that this is very simple drive, very, very easy, and really the only route from Chagrin Falls. 28 to 40 minutes. That 40-minute mark, I don't think you're really gonna touch too often, because unless you're going at, let's say 4:30, because it can start to get a little backed up from people going home and stuff like that. So yeah, here you go, 4:30. You get a little bit of that traffic here, but you're gonna get a little bit of the traffic in this vicinity sometimes too, because they're doing construction right now. But the exit is super close, so you don't have to really worry about that. Yeah, so these are gonna be your distances. These are the main two things, right, to downtown. And this kind of goes along with my con, talking about if you're looking to go downtown, to go to a club or to do things there, it may be a little hard to choose to Uber every time because of traffic, because of the distance. I mean, that was 27 miles? It was 24 miles, it was 24 miles. That's gonna, that Uber ride's gonna add up. So you have to keep that in mind if that's a priority for whatever reason. Just make sure that you understand that before going into it, right? So as I mentioned, you can see it's one of the further away suburbs within Cleveland, but it packs a punch. It has a lot to offer. So let's jump into it. So as you can see, for the most part, you have a nice kind of surrounding around Chagrin where you have living in all of these areas. You have stuff here, right? Stuff all up here, stuff over here, right? It's pretty self-explanatory, but you have the downtown area, which is really where you're gonna spend a lot of your time if you're trying to do things in this area. So this is why congestion can add up, because for the most part, everyone is kind of going to this area if they want to do stuff downtown. Now, there's other stuff outside on the outskirts, right? There's other shops, nothing crazy on the outskirts, but this is kind of be where everyone's going to do the majority of their stuff, and that's kind of why that traffic can start to build up. Now, I did mention sometimes if there's a parade or if there's a festival, I feel like, oh man, I really just don't feel like going downtown right now. You can go to some surrounding areas. So over here is Washington Street. We have some stuff here as well as some schools. So you're gonna have South Russell, Bentleyville, Moreland Hills. Moreland Hills isn't gonna have as much to do in that area, but when you go Bentleyville, Solon, kind of taking this route, you're gonna start to get to a lot of stuff. Solon has quite a lot of stuff with some space. You'll also find that Bainbridge is gonna have some stuff down here. Not as much as Solon, but Solon's pretty much the next biggest area that's gonna have a lot of that stuff. A lot of the supermarkets and anything that if you can't find something in Chagrin, you're gonna be able to find it in Solon. So you're not gonna really be looking for too much outside of Chagrin, in my opinion. You're gonna be able to find everything that you want. They have some great grocery stores. They have some great restaurants. Let's dive a little bit further into the downtown area. So here we go. You can kind of start to see the layout of downtown. You can kind of see some things here. So Heinen's, really good grocery store. They have pre-made meals if you want. They always cook their stuff fresh. Think about a Whole Foods where they have food sitting there kind of in those hot plates waiting to be served, and they do a good job of actually making good food here at Heinen's. You get your sushi, stuff like that. Depending on where you are, where you're from, where you're coming from, you're gonna know this type of grocery store, but this is a local grocery store here in Cleveland, Ohio, and I think there is one in Chicago as well, but that is a good one. And then you're gonna continue down East Washington Street is gonna be a pretty main drag. It's one of the big spots here as well, something that's gonna get you quite, pretty much everywhere. So we have Heartwood Coffee Roasters. There's your coffee. It's a very popular coffee place. There's a lot of different restaurants and stuff here that's just not populating on Google Maps. and that could just be because of the size, right? Yours truly is going to be a great breakfast place, but it also has dinner, and it offers all-day breakfast as well. It's a fun spot, great food, in my opinion, but everyone can kind of choose that for themselves. So if we kind of come across this little bridge here, and we're going to see some other stuff, some American food here. So we have a grill here, good food, nice atmosphere, and we have a nice view of Chagrin, of the falls. So they're doing construction here, right? So they're cleaning some of the stuff up, but you can kind of see the scenery, kind of see some of the stuff here. It's a very, very pretty area and beautiful spot, Chagrin Falls. This is going to be the proper side. Whoever was over here had to walk around and get to the restaurant, which is over here. This is where everyone's eating. This is where these photos are coming from. So now we have Einstein Bros, right? That's a very common, I think a lot of people are familiar with Einstein Bros. It's a bagel place, you know, breakfast. So here's going to be kind of one aspect of downtown where it's going to be more the shop side, some restaurants and some things to do. But as you can see, we have dental, so you don't have to go too far away from that. Then you have a lot of these local little boutique stores over here. What you'll find pretty often here in Chagrin Falls, just anything in this sense. You're gonna have some more over here as well. You've got a toy store, which is actually really fun. There's another one not too far from Chagrin Falls, which is really, really cool. I just, as a kid, to go in there and there's just a store full of toys and things on display to play with. It's really cool, especially being locally owned, especially when you see it there for 30 plus, 40 plus years. Very, very cool. You're going to see on this side of things with yours truly here, you have another grill here, just American stuff, American cuisine. So now here we go. We have kind of one of the more simple bars, right? Because I know in my pros and cons video, I spoke about how the nightlife, when it comes to a younger generation, there aren't going to be a whole ton of clubs, but at the same time, I know everyone of all ages like bars and can go and enjoy a bar. And here's one of those spots. So it's pretty fun right here, just on the strip in downtown. Behind this right here is all parking. So a lot of parking over here. So whether you are going to anything over here, or you're gonna walk over here, you're gonna walk, you know, down the path, whatever it is, and you need to drive, you're gonna be able to park here. But along with that, back there, which I'm actually very surprised hasn't pulled up yet, is another grocery store. It's gonna be, I believe, a Giant Eagle. So you see all of this here is parking, right? Very easy to tell. Then you have more of the shopping here with some stores here. All right, so this is Heinen's. This changed. Cool. So as you can see, we have some stuff. We have some bars. We have some Italian, some pizza here. Fun spot, great location. You know, you're right on the water. You have, that pizza looked a little burnt. However, beautiful views once again. So this is a better photo rather than what the other spot was showing you. Let's see if we can see something in the winter. Great view, great patio. Just trying to find a winter photo, because if you're coming from somewhere warm or not ready for the winter, you will notice that we get hit hard here. And Chagrin is on the east side, which typically does get hit with snow a little bit more than the west side. We'll do a video on the east versus west side here in the future, but this is something that you're gonna wanna consider. So let's continue on the other side of the river. We're gonna see some more, you know, you have ice cream spots, you have American food, you have another bar here, JoJo's. Again, it's just a cool, unique little spot. It's fun. You're gonna find something within here if you wanna just, it looks a little fancy, but there is a bar, I promise you. So here's the outside. It's a place to go. It's a nice place to kind of treat yourself at times. So here's another Italian restaurant. Just, you know, there's a bunch for everyone. So here's a studio kitchen. This is where you can kind of go as a family, and they do cooking classes. I mean, you don't have to go as a family or as a private event, but you can go with a significant other and you guys are able to just go and cook your courses. You know, you go through the steps with them and they go ahead and you learn how to cook, and you basically cook your dinner and then you guys eat it afterward. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty, you know, smaller classes if you go with a class, or you can do pretty large private events, I think up to like 25 people, which is very cool. Here's Cuffs. This is something I was talking about a little bit in my pros and cons video, which is a local business, leather goods. You're gonna have fine men's clothing, some women's items, from suits and ties to fragrances and bow ties and so on. So this is Main Street right here, this hill. This is one of the hills that I was kind of speaking about. Pumpkin Roll, that's one of the spots. But something I want to also come in and highlight is this park here. This park is the home of what's called Blossom, where I was talking to you about the activities. It's one of the just fun festivals that takes place each year right here in Blossom. I want to see if we can find a photo real quick. So here's a beautiful photo. The leaves changing. Again, there's parks, trails all across and walking next to this. So you're always going to be able to kind of explore this. And as you see, we have, I don't know what festival here, little band there, some live music. Here we go with some festivities around Christmas time, around the holidays. So I want to see if Blossom, I'm sure. So here we go. So a little bit more. I mean, this isn't the best photo to show you what Blossom is, but so here's a little part of the festival. It hosts the festival here in this park, so it's big enough for that, and it kind of gives you an idea of size when you think about it. If you can think about your local festival, when you guys have that with the ice cream, the funnel cakes, the rides, that space ride when you're, I think Gravitron or something like that. But it's a lot of fun. It's something to experience and just to give a go. Take the kids, whatever it may be. So here we go, the Ferris wheel. It's just, there's plenty of it. You're gonna have time to go here and enjoy your activities. If you want to throw a Frisbee, if you want to go hang out, if you want to take the kids and help wear off energy, take the dog. Here we go, some snow, there we go. We get hit hard over here on the east side, usually if snow is in the forecast, of course, but it does lead to some very beautiful sights. So yes, so you have plenty to do here in Chagrin Falls. You're not gonna lose out on things. However, as you can also see, they do have some main drags, right? North Main Street, East Washington, West and East Orange Street, depending on where you're going, are going to be your main drag. So sometimes you are going to run into traffic. It's 2 lanes. You're not going to be able to get around many people. So you just need to have patience and you need to understand that. We still have some spots. I know I mentioned earlier that this is going to be your main spot. We do have some things as you kind of leave that downtown area. So as you go down East Washington, where you're going to find one of the schools actually is located on this. So here you go, Chagrin Falls Middle School. And then you're going to get to some more shopping. Again, it's still going to be a little busier on this street, but it at least will allow you to maybe avoid that downtown traffic or to go elsewhere. Maybe you're not in the mood to go there. You live closer to here and you just don't want to make that 5 to 10 minute drive. So again, Burntwood Tavern, I think that's a pretty popular chain, I believe, outside of Cleveland. But then you have your Chinese cuisine, you have some more coffee, you have some gyms back here, some, ortho, PT, you have the CrossFit, martial arts. Awesome. That is always, it's always good to know. And then of course you have your commercial gym, right? Snap Fitness. Now that is a little bit more unique. You're not gonna always find the big commercial gyms that you do in some of the larger areas, right? Your Planet Fitness, they probably have one, maybe, not sure, but you're not gonna find all those commercial gyms in Chagrin Falls. So that's another thing maybe you want to keep in mind, that you may be driving, if you don't choose to go to one of these, a little further for a gym, unless you have a home gym. And then paninis. So you have things here as well to kind of get you out of downtown as well. So something I want to revisit as well. I didn't show you this, and that's just pizza over here. So again, the history that comes with Chagrin, the Valley Arts Center. So I mentioned how there's a big art scene there, right? Along with that, there is here, Chagrin Valley Little Theater. So right, another place where some live performances take place inside, which is cool. A little stadium, little auditorium for people to take place and have the live shows, the plays and things of that nature. And then you have a small little retail mall here where this is where Stir was. They have a couple things inside, as you can see, some medical spa, outfitters, bridal shop. That one actually is on the side. And then you have so it's a cool little restaurant that's been converted from an old house. And it kind of depicts the history and what Chagrin Falls was like and how they've taken and they've kept the history that's there and they've added stuff to it. As you can imagine, in other cities and states, they take old homes and they convert them to restaurants. Here you go. This is the outside. You got a little finger up there in the camera. That guy needs to look before he takes the photo. But other than that, I think it's a very cool atmosphere. You wouldn't think this is going to be a restaurant when you initially are walking past it or when you're driving past it or anything along those lines. And the same thing with Cuffs here, right? So old house that they converted. And when you do go inside of this, it is still an old house, which is really cool. They have a pool table in the middle. So let's take a look. So right, they have all the pants, scents, fragrances. This is an upstairs area with the woman's stuff. So this is kind of right, that's the door you'll walk in. This is once you walk in, you have all of this on display. And then in this room over here, there's a pool table. Here we go. So they kept the pool table. Usually it's not this full, it's usually just ties. They have some sweaters and shirts on there, so you can actually usually see the pool table, but it's like when they got inside of there, it was a little bit other stuff, but it's a very fun area. It's very cool just to see the history behind it. Let's jump into the street view and see what Google Maps wants to show us. Right, so here we go. I just want to show you what it's like. So it's not like the biggest lanes. You have street parking over here. You have the old buildings that are, the old houses converted into homes. There's this shopping center. And again, there's Sir on the outside. We're going to have this more. You'll see it in the vlog as I go around. But we have a little bar here. You have an auto shop in this area here. There's Cuffs. There's that restaurant. Over here, you're going to see this little living and some townhouses. And this is one of the main drags. So a lot of people come this route to get here from Pepper Pike, Beechwood, Orange, and stuff of that nature. Again, continue to look at the theme, old homes that have been converted into the businesses. So Lemon Falls, you got desserts right here. So some hardware stores. And this is the Township Hall, which they have events, bridal things. If you're getting married, if you're doing weddings, some more stuff here. Splendid ice creams, Starbucks. There is a hair salon, Kelsey Elizabeth Cakes. That closed, so I'm not sure what's going there, but they have a couple different locations. But you can get a lot of macarons from there. A lot of people really enjoy that. Here is going to be Chagrin Falls Popcorn. So this is actually a very popular store, very good popcorn as well, in my opinion, that they've started to also sell to your local grocery stores in this area. So here is the river, right, that we're gonna go over. Here is the entrance to the park, which goes further back. You're gonna see, you saw there was a ton of space back there, but this is kind of where a lot of those things are, where you have the festivals. You're gonna have some parades that come through there. You're gonna have some, what's the other thing? Blossom, which is the other little fun festival. But now this is kind of the second part where you're gonna see more of the boutique stores, the bookshop. You're not gonna see as many restaurants, but as you can tell, most of this architecture has been kept the same and updated and kept clean. But you're gonna see a lot of different things here, which is really, really fun. There's the coffee shop. That's one of the more Amelia. That's one spot to eat. You're gonna have, okay, I didn't know that they closed. Well, that's good to know. But you're gonna have shopping, food, restaurants, all of the above, which is very easy to get to. So fun architecture. And you're gonna see that there's the history behind it with all the different aspects that come in part. And this is gonna take us to the back with a ton of parking. So whether you want to go do something else or you're visiting one of these places, you can park. It's not reserved for just these businesses. Yours truly is right there. And then you're going to have some places over here, right? So, excuse me, we have a ski shop, Falls Park, Falls Pack and Ship. So that's going to be UPS authorized retailer. Where's the ski resort? Oh, there it is, Geiger's. So it's going to continue on, as well as Heinen's and CVS back here. There's kind of a quick rundown. I know I kept talking and went on and on, but there's a quick rundown. Let's kind of come back out and let's take a look at where's the best place to live. Well, really, anywhere. I know that's probably cliche and you probably expected that, but when you look at it, you're never too far away, right? Okay, so yes, you're gonna be getting into a little bit of a distance when you get up here, and down here a little bit. But for the most part, you're always gonna have easy access to downtown, right? So you're always gonna be getting on a main street, however, but you're gonna have easy access to get into downtown. You really aren't gonna go wrong. It's just a matter of how much land you want and what becomes available. Because as I mentioned, and as you've seen, it is a smaller town. So the demand, which is high, makes it very difficult sometimes to get in there. Here's the caveat to that. The cost of living is a little higher. So when it does come, things do come on the market, it does take a specific buyer to be able to get in there and get that property. You kind of have this little balance beam of, okay, the price of the house and the amount of buyers in the market for that price. And, are you gonna get unlucky and someone's right there and then waiting for that? Or are you gonna, is this gonna be perfect for you where maybe the price of the home keep some people away and you have that time to make the decision without having to rush into anything. And we're going to take a look at a market report here a little later, but it's something to keep in mind. You really can't go wrong where you live. But I want to show you you're going to see that some plots, some homes are separated a little bit more as we kind of go around, and some homes are a little bit more packed together. Now, Chagrin Falls has a very strong older style home and architecture, but are starting to see some new communities being built, some new homes being built, and some people tearing down homes and adding their own. For example, this monster and this Goliath of a house sitting right there in the corner. I got nosy one day and I looked at it, and this sucker is they bought this property and they got 3 acres of land, and they tore down the family home that had been sitting there, I think for it was 50 plus years or so, and they built that. That thing is not small, I can tell you right now. You're gonna see sometimes the demand is bringing a lot more disposable income where that are gonna be willing to purchase a property, tear it down and build. And you're gonna see that sometimes throughout Chagrin because some people just don't have the option, or because this was such prime location that they're like, I'm willing to do it. Because if you take a look, this is very easy to, they can come over Summit, down Orange, and you're here in downtown. Or if you just want to come down West Cottage into this street and then onto Main, you can do that as well. So very, very easy. I mean, this right here is probably the easiest walk of them all, with some sidewalks over here. So that's a 5-10 minute walk to get to downtown Chagrin. So that location was very prime. And that's what makes this kind of difficult to tell you, hey, where should I live? Because there are still some communities being built. As you can see, these are newer homes, right? And that it has that development feel a little bit. Whereas you're gonna have some of these homes that are on some of the main streets or off of them as well, being more of the old architecture, but yet updated. And we might be able to see one of those homes here in a second on the market report. Again, coming over here, you're gonna see some of these are gonna be a little bigger as well, but not as much of that cookie cutter development area. We have townhouses that are being built. So this is a common route this way. So this isn't really Chagrin Falls, but you can see there's a dip. It's pretty cool actually, because over here is a hill. So this is kind of the bottom portion of the hill. But they're building this new community in this area, which also has quite some nice homes, and they're still building. I know this one was finished last time. So as you can see, they're building some more modern homes, the architecture style. That one isn't as much, but they are building these homes in this area. So I want to take you to the street real quick. This goes down the hill. This is kind of halfway up the hill as you continue to go up. And then you would wrap around, come up the hill, and then you'd start going back down the hill to get down into Chagrin Falls, because it is at the bottom. There's a hill here going down, hill here going down, and back here there's going to be a hill as well. Whereas East Washington is going to be pretty flat. So as you can see, it's really kind of dependent upon each person's situation, what they're looking for, what they want, the kind of house that they want, the style of the house, architecture, land, because you can find plots that are pretty big. You can find some plots that are a little smaller, but it's totally up to what you're looking for, right? And that's with anything, of course, but you're gonna be able to find that here in Chagrin Falls. You'll be able to find land, or you'll be able to find an older house, a newer house. You're gonna be able to find close to downtown, a little further away, so on. So it really has all of it. And as you see, we have more over here. This is going to be more different. These homes are definitely going to be that older architecture, with some of the houses getting a little bit newer, but these are going to be a little bit older, as well as some of the houses going this way are going to be a little bit older, with some updates on the inside as well. So it's difficult to dictate where, or to tell you where, try to look, because sometimes you're going to have to look at a per house basis to figure out, okay, I love this house, but is this where, is this the best place for me in Chagrin Falls? Or, okay, the house might need some updating, but is this prime location for me in Chagrin Falls, and I'm okay to update this home? These are things that come down to you and whoever else is making this decision. And obviously I'm here to help you with that and help give as much insight, but ultimately you got to make sure that you're happy, because it is a big purchase. So continuing on, we have a big park up there. I know we haven't spoken too much about the outskirts, because of a lot of it, and everything really does take place in downtown, with the living on the outskirts, a nice dog park, and then Chagrin River kind of running through all of this as well. So this is really, in a nutshell, what Chagrin Falls is like. Of course, I highly advise to walk through it. Check out my vlog video so you can see some of these houses in person, so that you can, well, not in person, but through video, and you can see what the streets are like. Typically they're tree-lined streets and older architecture. I mean, we're gonna see this stuff in the vlog, but these are gonna be not the oldest part of them, because there are some more older architectural style homes, but these are going to be the ones that came a little bit afterward. You have some nice space in these houses. I'm sure that you have a lot of updates done within these in this neighborhood as well. So a little bit more hilly, a little bit more land in this area. The homes may not be as updated. Again, we're going to go through this so that you guys can see this and you can also see the pricing. Let's jump back out and let's jump into a market report, because jumping into just random streets may not be the best bet to give you an accurate representation. So jumping over to Chagrin Falls, the summary report, as you can see, if we scroll up, here's a little bit of information. So right now it is a seller's market. We only have 2.4 months of inventory, which on average, typically it's like 4 to 5 is what you want to see to get into a balanced market. And then list to price ratio, the percentage. This is interesting because 93.1%, which is down. So basically it's saying that people aren't getting full price for their homes on some of these. Now, of course, this is in the last 30 days. So what's sold may not mean that, this may not be the time that you're watching this video. It may be different. This could be at 99%. Or maybe these people are beginning to sell their houses and they're thinking, oh, I don't need to touch my house because it's a seller's market. So let me just go ahead and put it on the market the way it is. Yet they're like, oh, wait, why is no one coming to see my house? And they have to drop the price. 30 days in, so 37 days. This is kind of a RPR report, so this isn't as important, but this is another thing. So your median sold price was 1.1 million. Again, that changes and fluctuates. I mean, look at that. That was up 60% over the last month. So this is a better idea. So we have a median estimated value of 562,000 to give you an idea of what that looks like. Some nearby neighborhoods. So this is a good representation. So we are above the average in both the US, but also Ohio and also the county. Cuyahoga County being one of the more pricier counties, especially when it comes to taxes as well. Again, this can come just to the fact that it was the last month, especially this aspect here. So let's jump over to 24 homes for sale. So this is down. So you can see that people aren't listing their houses as much. So out of the 4,000, a little over 4,000 people that are living in Chagrin Falls, we only have 24 houses for sale right now. New to the market, only 4 homes. Days on the market, 72 days. So that's kind of a little bit longer. So again, people might have been pricing it. Now this shows a little bit of a different average home price. And then as you can see, when it's sold, it's a little less. So something to keep in mind right here, you don't have as many people selling in that 4,000 amount of people. What I was trying to get to is that we have actually, Chagrin Falls is about an 80% own, 20% rent community. So you can take the 4,000, take the 80%, and then you have an accurate representation of how many people are actually in there selling and have the opportunity to sell versus just renting. So let's jump down to some of the listings. We have a condo here, kind of like a townhouse, right? And this one is going for $400,000 even. Let's see what we get for that, right? So we're gonna get what looks like a little bit older, still needing some updating, things of that nature, but it is gonna come with an HOA as well, covering, some association fees, area maintenance, exterior building insurance. It's a 2-bedroom, 3-bath, right? So that's a little different. You typically think of it as the other way around, and it's 1,600 square feet. So again, $400,000. It's been on the market for 2 days, and it's priced where it's at. So it's not right, the older architecture that we think of, which is going to be the next one that we look at already. So now we're on to the next one. Again, this one does include an HOA, but you're going to see it's a little bit older. It has that architecture that we were kind of talking about a little bit more. It's going to be 6,000 square foot, so living area. It's 4.5. So it's 4 full baths and a half. And let's see what the inside looks like. So maybe this may not be everyone's cup of tea with some of the architecture, but also with some of this wood, the staining, the rooms. The bathroom has been completely updated, so they have a little bit blend of the new and the old, the wallpaper, right? So it's $950,000, and some people may think, oh, that's kind of gross, or I don't like that. Some people might be open to that. It's always going to be very different per person, right? So here's another one. And so now going back to our report, I'm going to pull up what is currently the most expensive house in Chagrin. All right. So this one just went under contract not too long ago, 10/8, so a couple of days ago. It's actually been a week, my bad. But this was one of the most expensive homes on the market just moments ago. The next most expensive right now that's currently active is about 1.5 million, and I'm going to jump to that next because I want to show you it is a townhouse, and so it's very interesting to see that kind of pricing. But this was a 5-bed, 6.5 bath, 12,000 square foot home built in 2008 that went for, or is going for, 3.495 million. We don't know what it's going to close at, but just keep that in mind. And as you can see, you know, everything is very new, very updated, clean. They had water. As you kind of saw the lake behind them and the wooded lot, very open. So this is kind of, you know, just to give you an idea of what people are doing. Some people are ripping down homes, putting up monsters, and apparently leaving soon after, right? So you have your pool, the water slide, and yes, many people do have pools here in Ohio, even though we may not get to use them for the longest amount of time. It is something that you will see quite often. So you do have the lake back there. All right, so this is actually something I want to pull up next. This is also under contract, but this went for $2.1 million, and it was under contract and pending in 2 days. These are those condos, those townhouses that we saw coming from one of the streets down into downtown. We saw it on Google Maps. So these people are just gonna step out their door, walk, depending on the stride and depending how tall they are, maybe 50 steps, and they're gonna be pretty much right there on Main Street, downtown Chagrin, right? As you can see, the location really dictates how much these go for. Now, this is nice. This is not your typical townhouse, in my opinion. You don't always have a rooftop grill and so on, you know. So this is a nicer townhouse, but again, 2 days they went under contract. Good. So now I want to show you the other townhouses that are new, that are going for 1.5. All right, so here we go. These are called, I mean, these are considered single family, but it's a 3.5, and they do have a shared wall. So I mean, it's something you're going to keep in mind. But again, they're brand new. This is some of the new construction that is being built. It's pretty nice, and it's something that you have to keep in mind. It could be something you want. Maybe you want the old style. Maybe you want the old architecture. It's going to be different per person, but it's something that you'll have to think and consider when you're choosing to purchase a home in Chagrin Falls. There's a city nearby called Hunting Valley, and I just combined them two. All right, so now on to a single-family home that isn't in the millions, right? So maybe that'd be nice. So this one's gonna be $544,000, and it's a 3.5, all right? And it's been updated on the inside. So it's clean, it's nice, it's got gas, which can be something that many people prefer, gas stoves, and it has everything that you're gonna want, right? So this is kind of what to expect, again, in this price range. Now, this is not a finished basement, but still updated land. So it's just something that you'll keep in mind that, again, yes, updated, it's nice, but it is a little further away from downtown. But again, if it's in Chagrin Falls, your drive to downtown isn't going to be that long if that's where you want to go. Now, if it's something like, oh, I want to walk downtown, then sure, this house might not be it. It's going to be determined based on what you want to do, where you want to live, what you're looking for, what's your budget, all of that stuff. And that I can help you with, and we can help determine when you're ready, of course. But this is going to wrap up our video for today. I'm glad that we went on this tour of Chagrin Falls, Ohio. I hope you were able to learn and get out of it what you wanted to, and just kind of be able to hopefully get some answers, some questions answered on Chagrin Falls. And maybe you never knew about Chagrin Falls and you're like, oh, this is a place that I really want to check out. It might be something that just got added to your list of places. It is a very nice, fun community area, and there's always things to do. And it's something that's just a hot spot in hot demand. And it's always going to bring people from surrounding areas to join in on these community events and these things of that nature. So again, this is it. This was Chagrin Falls, the map video. I hope you enjoyed. Take a look at my pros and cons video or the vlog video on Chagrin Falls and get, kind of more acquainted with it all. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to ask any questions in the comments below, or sending me a text or an email, whatever it may be. And of course, if you know anything about Chagrin Falls, if I missed anything, if you want to add anything that people have to know because it can help them make a decision or be just knowledgeable on Chagrin Falls, please do add that into the comments so that we can help others. All right, so take care for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.